Hey guys, Revi-i-ve here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the RKF Rider Armor Series Kamen Geiz Revi-i-ve from Kamen Go. This is a posable figure of Kamen Geiz's 2-in-1 power-up form that can switch between the two forms. This set includes the figure, 2 accessories, and 1 interchangeable part. So, let's get started. And here we have Kamen Geiz Revi-i-ve GORETSU. This is Geiz Revi-i-ve's power type form specializing in attack and defense. So for Geiz Revi-i-ve, Geiz swaps out the main red color for black, and then adds in the armor which has its own unique colors. For the head, you still have Rider written in hiragana, but more angular and jutted out than before. In the center of his face is an hourglass containing a red color. You have the Kamen symbol on the forehead, as well as some markings to show sand flowing through the hourglass. For the chest, it has this bulky orange armor with a red hourglass in the center. You can see that the arms don't change too much. You have the GQ driver with the Geiz watch and the Geiz Revi-i-ve watch. Got some other details here on the legs, as well as the shins, which have hourglass details on them as well. On the back, we can see the rest of the armor, as well as, of course, the watch band that still does go down the back. Articulation-wise, got a ball-jointed head, which is slightly limited by the armor. For the arms, the shoulders go out a little bit, as well as forward. There are some hinges for the shoulder pads, so they can move a little bit outwards like so. Though, as you can kind of see, the shoulder movement is a little bit restricted by the armor, but there is a fix to it that I'll show you guys later on in the video. Let's have a bicep swivel, single joint elbows, wrist rotation, and in a bit of a change to the previous RKF figures, instead of having an ab crunch, instead it actually does have a bit of a waist joint to where the articulation is basically that the torso is ball jointed to the waist. There isn't too much side-to-side movement, but it does allow some back and forth tilts as well as forward and backwards, just not much in terms of rotation. For legs, got some good forward and backwards movement, full in and out, rotation at the thigh, or rather at the hip, pretty deep single joint knees as well as ball jointed ankles. For comparison, here's Geiz Revi-i-ve and Kamen Geiz. So, you can very much see the change to the helmet, where it's a lot spikier and more fierce in terms of the design for the visor. And yeah, you can definitely tell that this guy has quite a bit of bulk by comparison. And a lot of it does definitely differ to where you can tell that this is a power-up form for Geiz. For Geiz Revi-i-ve GORETSU, he can be equipped with the Dikanja Claw in Noko mode. So, as is typical, this is a single piece of solid colored plastic. In this case, black plastic. You can see all the nice details. Does have Noko there in hiragana. Got the slot with all the details there, the grip, and the back. And as per the series, this weapon goes in Geiz Revi-i-ve's right hand. Just like that. And then you can pose him with it. Though the angle at which he holds it is a little bit awkward because it basically tilts downwards ever so slightly. But that's something that you can work around. So, to transform Geiz Revi-i-ve from GORETSU to Shippu, first thing you want to do is, using your nail, remove the red hourglass piece from the face, and then switch in this blue hourglass piece instead. Then, we're going to open up the chest from the center, and fold out both sides, folding them back until they lock into place like this. Then bring them forward and angle them upwards, to look like wings. And here we have Kamen Geiz Revi-i-ve Shippu. So, this is Geiz Revi-i-ve's speed type, specializing in speed and agility. The head doesn't change aside from the hourglass change from red to blue, but what does change is the main body. So, for the body, you can see that it's now got just an entirely blue color scheme instead of having a two-toned color like the orange and black, orange and red rather, of GORETSU. You can see some speed gauges on the chest, very smooth shoulder pads, and then these big expanding out wings, which also have some nice detail as well as metallic blue within them. Within this mode, the articulation is definitely freed up a lot more, so the ball joint is totally unrestricted, aside from the little bit of restriction caused by how it's positioned on the neck and collar. You can definitely move left to right a lot more. The wings themselves are on ball joints, so they can move around as you see fit. The shoulders now have the room to move 360 degrees, as well as in and out past 90 degrees, which is pretty impressive. Then from there, the articulation is the same. And as you can see, the ride watch holder pieces on this figure are removable, though they don't really have a purpose to being removed, as this isn't compatible with the right armors. For a second comparison, here is Geiz Revi-i-ve Shippu with Kamen Geiz. And again, you can see that there is quite the difference where, even though this is a more lithe form, with the way it has the wings spread out like this and the way it has this change to the armor, you can definitely tell that this is a power-up form rather than just some normal form change. And for Geiz Revi-i-ve Shippu, it can be equipped with the Jikan Jakla Tsume mode. So once again, this is all black plastic. You've got all the details there, including the Tsume in hiragana. You got the back and the top. Everything is molded as it should be. And for Shippu, the Jikan Jakla goes in the left hand this time. So you fix it just like that. And with Shippu, there is definitely a higher range of poses you can do with him, with or without a weapon. And finally, I'll show you guys how to transform Geiz Revi-i-ve from Shippu back to GORETSU with a fix that will increase his shoulder articulation. So of course, the first thing we're going to do is switch out the hourglass pieces, changing it from blue back to red. Now while normally you would take the shoulder pieces, move them down like this, and then fold them over to peg these pegs into the chest slots here and here, for this fix, we're actually going to take them and detach them from the ball joints. Then you're going to plate into the chest while folding this piece to the back and having it just rest by the ball socket. The same for the other side. And now we're back to Geiz Revi-i-ve GORETSU. However, now that we have these pieces detached from the shoulders, that actually does give us more range of articulation. So, for the actual shoulder pieces, the way that they move is on a set of double hinges, where you've got one that moves this way and then one that moves like this. And with this freed up, we now give the arm a lot more outwards and upwards movement. The point where if you actually move this far enough out of the way, you can get close to 90 degrees. This also actually frees up a little bit of movement outwards. So with this in mind, you actually do now have a greater range of posability from what it originally was, all thanks to just having these pieces clipped into the front, whereas having nothing clipped onto the shoulders to restrict the articulation. And while this could have been something they advertised in the instructions, it does make sense why they'd want to keep these plugged in, just because these are how these expand out for Shippu. But this is a good way of making the once restricted articulation of Geiz Revi-i-ve GORETSU not quite as restrictive. And there we go. Overall, Geiz Revi-i-ve is an excellent figure with a well-done self-contained gimmick. It has all the details it needs to have, molded very well, even small details that could have been left out. While there are some spots of paint missing here and there, it has all the important stuff painted in, so it does look like it is well colored. The form-changing gimmick is also very quick and easy to do, and it does make use of just a simple bit of part swapping with the different face pieces, but I'd say that's better than having an entirely different head that you have to swap out for the two different forms. And while there are different levels of articulation for the two forms, with Geiz Revi-i-ve Shippu obviously having more, as I showed, there is a fix that you can do to give Geiz Revi-i-ve GORETSU a bit more articulation, so that both of them can have a good range of poses, especially since each one comes with their respective weapon mode. So, if you're a fan of Kamen Rider Geiz Revi-i-ve, I can definitely recommend picking up this figure. Next time, I'll be reviewing the Deluxe Tiger Rance. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.